Today's objective is on slave revolts. Did anybody tell me anything about slave revolts? Yes.
I heard about one slave revolt. It was a man by the name of Nat Turner.
Nat Turner, my grandma told me that he was a murderer. He killed over 200 white people.
Actually, he gave all the slaves hope. He was the first one to go against them.
Was your grandma white?
Yeah, what does she have to do with anything?
How was he a murderer when he freed all the slaves?
Well, actually, he didn't free all the slaves, and he wasn't just a murderer. And he did give a mass majority of slaves hope.
Let my people go.
Southampton County, Virginia, is near the North Carolina border. It was a densely forested area with plantations sprinkled throughout the land. Houses of the area were very inconspicuous as well. Free and enslaved blacks outnumbered whites by a ratio of 3 to 2 in 1830. However, slaves in Southampton County were treated very harshly.
People go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand.
Nat was born into slavery on October 2nd, 1800 in Southampton County, Virginia. His first master was Benjamin Turner, however he died early in Nat's life in 1810. After Benjamin's death, Nat was willed to Samuel Turner, Benjamin's brother. Nat's last master was a man named Joseph Travis. Nat knew very little of his father because he ran away while Nat was young. Nat was very intelligent and was taught to read and write at a young age. He was also very religious and would fast, pray, and read the Bible.
Hold up, see, that's the root of the problem right there. My granny said that they should have never have taught him how to read in the first place.
Yes, they taught Nat to read so he could teach the slaves to be more, to calm them down, to be more submissive, but they didn't, actually know that they'll rebel. Okay, now class, back to the lecture.
Understand. Let my people go. Yes, the Lord said, go down. Go down.
The rebellion led by Nat Turner was largely a result of his religious convictions. He often had prophetic visions in which the Lord would speak to him. After running away into the wilderness for a month in 1822, he is said to have had spiritual revelations. Nat had been communicating with his visions to a group of 4 men, which were Henry, Hart, Nelson, and Sam, who would meet on the Travis plantation periodically. Nat also looked to celestial conditions as a sign for his rebellion. Turner originally wanted to rebel on July 4th, Independence Day. However, he could not rebel until the fall of 1831 due to illness. Nat saw 2 eclipses in the same season. The first he interpreted as a black man's hand covering the earth. The second was his confirmation to begin the revolt. On August 21st, 1831, Nat and a few other slaves began the Southampton Insurrection. Yes.
So since Nat Turner was compared to a prophet, shouldn't he be in the Bible?
Houseway.
My people go. So the Lord said, go down. Go down. Moses.
Hello, brothers. The time has come, and I have received my signal. I heard a voice in the heavens, and the Spirit instantly appeared and said the serpent was loosened, and Christ had laid down the yoke he had borne for the sins of men. He said that I should take on the serpent and fight it head on. Time was fast approaching when first should be last, and last should be first. So who would take on this serpent?
General Nat.
Who will fight the serpent?
General Nat.
Who will defeat the serpent?
General Nat.
The first plantation that was attacked was the Travis plantation, which was Nat's plantation. The family was still asleep when the rebels attacked their home. All 5 family members were killed.
Don't you dare touch me! Stand back! No!
The rebels attacked the Whitehead plantation next. Upon Nat's entrance into the home, Margaret Whitehead ran from the home into a corner. However, Nat found her and killed her. Margaret is the only person Nat confessed to killing in the Confessions of Nat Turner. Nat Turner went from plantation to plantation, alarming slaves by using Negro spirituals. Nat started his rebellion with only a few neighboring slaves. However, as the rebellion progressed, the number of slave participants in the rebellion reached as many as 70 people. Slaves in the rebellion refrained from using firearms because they did not want the gunshots to serve as a warning for neighboring slave masters. Instead, they used hatchets, axes, and other lethal objects. More than 60 whites were killed in the rebellion. However, more than 50 slaves were tried in court and executed for their participation in the revolt. An additional 40 slaves were killed by the white mobs. The rebels did not discriminate upon the age or gender of their victims. Babies were killed as well. However, some whites were spared due to their low societal status. Many of the slaves who participated in the revolt were caught in as little as 24 hours after the revolt. However, Nat was able to escape capture and hide in a hole covered with leaves and a fence post for 2 months. Nat Turner was found hiding after 2 months by Benjamin Phipps.
Let my people go. If not, I'll smite your face.
After capture by Benjamin Phipps, Nat Turner was put on trial and presented in front of a court of 20 white jury members, all of whom were slave owners. Nat was found guilty for leading the insurrection and set for execution by hanging. While in his holding cell, Nat Turner was questioned by a lawyer named Thomas Ruffin Gray. Gray published a novel entitled Confessions of Nat Turner shortly after Nat's death, a novel comprised of information he obtained about Nat and Nat during his trial. On November 11, 1831, Nat Turner was hanged publicly. His body was also dismantled and skinned. Okay, class, so now learning about Nat Turner, what is now your perception of him?
So I see my grandma was wrong, and it was only 55 white people and actually over 200 slaves.
And I told y'all that he did give all the slaves hope.
And his rebellion was a large-scale